We get another Wyatt Sucks VHS tape. More high school art project filming. Dallas didn't really say anything. They showed flashes of the others without their masks. Rowan looks exactly the same, while the other ones at least have changed their look somewhat. They didn't show Nikki Cross without her mask. I don't know what that means, if it means anything. Hopefully this means they won't be wrestling in those fucking things, if they ever do wrestle. Because we all know they just like to talk and talk and talk, so.
Well, they did kind of allude to maybe they're about to wrestle. Dallas said something about they needed to be free or something like that. I don't know. Maybe we are getting close to them wrestling. It does seem like they'll be wrestling without the mask. By the way, it'd be a thing to mention here. I don't know if it's big enough for a story, but Gunther, he was on the Gorilla Position podcast. Seems like that's his weekly podcast.
Gorilla
And
position?
yeah,
Okay, I'll have to check that one out. If Gunther's on it.
yeah. And the guy asked him about the Wyatt Six, and he was like, I mean, it's not for me. He was like, I'm not into all that hocus pocus stuff, but hopefully it works out for them. So he said it's not exactly his taste.
God bless Gunther. He's a fucking treasure.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good interview for him. They asked him, if he'd ever see himself in a ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I mean, if it makes sense, I'm not going to get in a ladder match and just start flopping all over the place. If we can use the ladder to tell a story, these guys, they just want to go out there and flip and, they just want their little melty banger stars. But he's like,
you don't have to convince me. Gunther's the greatest. I know. I will say that Bo Dallas is doing a good job of carrying the mantle of saying a whole bunch of nonsense while looking good doing it.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he said this week.
Yeah, it was just a whole bunch of words.
Just because we're doing retro reviews, there's another guy that's going to be talking a bunch of nonsense this week too. Like, what the hell did you even... I've never heard someone say so many words to say nothing.
You're absolutely right. So Gable yells at Pierce about the sucks. Ultimately, Gable says he's going to handle the sucks his way, and he wants a whole mess of apologies when he does, and also a vacation. Pierce walks into his office, and Bo Dallas is just sitting there. And we're 3 to 4 weeks in, and still no one is addressing the entire backstage being decimated by Bo Dallas and the sucks. This sucks.
It'll all make sense in time, maybe.
It doesn't make sense now.
Yes, they're going after false prophets who have used their family as gain.
They murdered the entire backstage, dude. You can't brush past that. Nobody's fucking addressed that. Adam Pearce hasn't said anything. The only thing he even remotely said about it is that basically Gable's a victim now. He's traumatized, and he'll be ready to talk about his story when he's ready. Well, why hasn't Pearce fucking addressed the whole entire locker room just being taken out by these 3 strangers? Not one fucking person has addressed it. Triple H hasn't addressed it. Nobody's come out and said, we know 3 to 4 weeks ago this incident happened. We didn't want to say anything because we've been investigating it and we've just been looking into it. We want to assure you it's something, anything. But no, they just brush past it because that's what they fucking do. And that's why it sucks, because they don't fucking make sense. They just do shit. That's why Gable's knocked out for 20 minutes by a fucking Jey Uso spear that everybody else kicks out of.
Fair enough.